So the Wood County Sheriff's Department, along with other agencies around the area, finally got their guy. They arrested Bradley Cantwell yesterday rather. And this was right by South High School on Blizzard Drive as he was leaving an area of business. He's 41 years old, and he was with Gage Fouty, who's 37 years old, and they arrested him on aiding and abetting. That's a felony, as long as other separate charges that he was with. So you see the riffraff that he was hanging with right there. And Gage Fouty's from 19th Street. That's where this emaciated and starving dog is from. So keep your eyes peeled if you see that. Let the authorities know, because people are looking for that as well. But here are pictures of the vehicle involved. Cantwell entered the residence of James and Felicia and was hoping that the fire would conceal the evidence of him shooting them, but he didn't think it through, clearly. Update January 5th, 2022. I am sorry to report that Joshua has passed away. Hi, my name is Sonia Jackson, and I am the grandmother of Joshua Adam Polsley. Joshua was severely beaten on Wednesday, December 22nd after being lured to a house in South Parkersburg. He is currently hospitalized in very critical condition. If he lives, there is a good possibility that he will lose the use of his legs, and his hands will need to be amputated due to the restriction of blood supply to his limbs. He is facing a long road to recovery, and your help would be very much appreciated. Joshua is the father of 3 fine boys, and this incident has been very hard on them, as well as his entire family. It is unreal to us that someone could deliberately lure you to their house and beat you until you almost die, leaving you severely handicapped for the rest of your life. Joshua had turned his life around and was going to Bible college and faithfully attending church because he wanted to help others with addiction. Joshua is only 36 years old and way too young to face the future he is facing. I am sincerely hoping you will see it in your heart to help this young man, whom his family loves very much. We are heartbroken and ask for your prayers for Josh. God can work a miracle in his life if it is his will. Please pray for Josh. So this picture backs up what his grandmother was saying. He was here with Ronnie Kesner, guy who used to be on drugs and turned his life around as a rapper now, and is trying to lead people to Jesus. And that's what he wanted to do, was lead people to Jesus Christ and be a pastor and try to help people come off drugs. That's one big part of our channel that we want to do. So it was nice to see that was his mission. Here you see him with one of his kids as a loving family father. And the question now becomes, why did Bradley Wright, not Brad Cantwell, but Brad Wright, why did he beat him with a whiffleball bat? So here's Bradley Wright, 37 years old, all about the same age of the other people in this case, and it says an autopsy will be performed on Mr. Polsley to determine the cause of death, and additional charges may be brought against Mr. Wright in the future. The investigation is also ongoing to determine if additional individuals should be charged criminally in this case. I really like this picture that he had on his profile, speaking of Josh Polsley, because it says, "Live life today, tomorrow is not promised." And it really makes you think, because this guy was really turning his life around and he wanted to help people. Now you're probably wondering how a wiffle ball bat can cause injuries to kill a man who's 37 years old, and it doesn't seem like it would be able to do that. But it was reported by Wood County Sheriff's Department that he suffered from brain bleeding and had maybe a hematoma and other intestinal injuries. So we're going to look at this video I took of a wiffle ball bat at a local store and see if you guys think that it could lead to the injuries in the pictures. Okay, so we're going to give you guys 10 seconds on each picture to kind of study the injuries here. And you see that his feet are blackened. His whole right side of his body, his right arm here, you can see his side, and one of our cold case members said, yeah, a hematoma is when the blood piles up like that in the body. It's just kind of looking for a way to escape. You can see all up and down on his leg here, but could a wiffle ball bat do all that? So speaking of Brad Wright, who's pictured here, and not Brad Cantwell, who's pictured here, Brad Wright agreed to tell the police that he kicked him about maybe up to 15 times on the ground and struck him with a wiffle ball bat about 6 times, right around half a dozen times, so 6 or 7 times. So let's bring it back to Brad Cantwell and why I think he's a serial killer, why this isn't his first rodeo of killing somebody. And it's been reported by the family that they knew somebody hot shot him, they just didn't know who it was, and it's been reported that he's the one that did it. As Josh Polsley was laying in the hospital, Brad Cantwell stole all his tools, and now recently, with the passing of these other 2 people, he's stolen 20 to 40 guns, and the communities of Walker and Parkersburg are very scared right now. Caleb Polsley was Josh Polsley's son, and it says he was here one night hanging with the kids. We were talking about his dad and how I knew Josh, and that kid swears up and down that Brad also had something to do with his dad's death and that he stole all his tools. So he would have had a couple days of getting rid of the guns, and it's between 20 and 40 guns that we're hearing that he has stolen. He may have had help from a friend named James, and we don't know if he's a confidential informant because the sheriff's department, Wood County, got him. They let him go, and now they were trying to find him. Now, sadly, nothing's going to bring these 3 individuals back, but is Brad Wright sitting in jail for a murder he didn't actually commit? Now, beating somebody with a bat is a bad crime, and he needs to pay time for that, absolutely. Do you think Brad Cantwell should be charged for the murder of Joshua Polsley? On top of taking 2 other lives, that should give him a life sentence.